It all started, I was on my gap year. As you know, I don't know if I mentioned it, I went to India, Thailand, Myanmar, Cambodia, Indonesia, Vietnam. Well, I met Juan in Vietnam. So Juan said to me in Vietnam, right, Caleb, do you want to come back to Tenerife? I'm from Tenerife. I'm going to Tenerife anyway, caving. Do you want to come along? And I was there with my friend Paul, and my friend Carla, and this girl Una. Me and Una had a bit of a thing, so he said, do you want to all go together? And I was like, yeah, sure, we'll all go together. So we're going to go to Tenerife. I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's go to Tenerife. Hey guys, I'm Caleb. I'm currently here in Tenerife after I got arrested for running around in a forest. We'll hear more about that if I get chosen. I've been on my gap year for the last few months. I've been to all sorts of places, had all sorts of experiences. Amazing things like training to be a yoga teacher up in the mountains in Rishikesh in India, driving about on a scooter in Thailand, having proper pad thai, amazing pad thai. But yeah, here I am in Tenerife. I can't wait to tell you all about how I ended up here at my aunt's house, and also to just share what I've learned about Eastern culture. And I've really found myself on this trip, and I want to share that with other people. And if that can help them in a time like this, then so be it. So see you soon. Namaste. And I knew Tenerife because I had a holiday home in Tenerife when I was younger with my family. So I thought, I'll see a new part of Tenerife. So we came to Tenerife anyway. And we get dropped off in a taxi early evening in this forest. Now, these forests in Tenerife, I don't know if you know, if you've ever been, but it's beautiful. Like, you're in a forest at the top of a mountain and you can see the sea through the trees and the coast, and you're like, how am I seeing the sea and the coast through some trees on a mountain? I can see snow on that mountain as well. Crazy. Anyway, so we're going through this forest. I can hear like howling. And I'm like, oh, is that wolves, Juan? And I was like, oh no, there's no wolves here. Didn't think much of it at the time because apparently Canary Islands can't have wolves because they're volcanic, so okay. So we carry on, and we don't hear this howling again until we're at this house. Well, it was more like a shack, really, but we're in this shack, and we're all sat around the fire, having a doobie. And we hear the howling again. And I'm like, whoa, Juan, is that howling again? And Juan goes, yeah, it could be the guacanchas. Have you heard of guacanchas before?
No.
No, well, guacanchas are apparently these giant nightmarish dogs. They've got like red eyes, and they live in caves and barrancos, are these big holes in the ground, and they live in there. And then at night they would kill cattle or like terrorise the locals. So anyway, Juan's telling me this story, and I'm like, oh, I'm listening to this story for a bit, and then I start to look at Paul's face. Now, my friend Paul, this is the guy I was talking about before, his face was like melting. His eyes are like falling down his face. So as Juan was saying like, oh, we're going to go to this cave tomorrow and I'll show you around it, I'm just laughing. And then Carlos notices what I'm laughing at too, so we're all laughing. And I'm like, this spliff isn't just weed. And then I say to Juan, this spliff isn't just weed. This has got DMT or something in it, hasn't it? And Juan's like, oh yeah, it does have DMT in it. So we're all sat there laughing at Juan. No, not Juan. Paul. We're laughing at Paul. And Paul just starts like gagging. So Paul just runs out of the room gagging. And we're just laughing our heads off. We just think it's hilarious. Anyway, finished laughing. And I'm like, oh, we should go to that cave, Juan. And Juan's like, yeah, we go tomorrow, man. We go tomorrow. He's like, this Spanish guy is pretty chilled. Anyway, so then I stand up, and the floor's like wiggling a bit. And Juan goes like, oh man, waves. And then he puts his arm around Una. Now, me and Una had a bit of a thing. We've been having a thing. And like everybody knew me and Una were having this thing. And I was just like, Juan, why would you do that? Why would you start putting your arm around Una when you know that I like Una? Anyway, I'm a bit pissed off, as I say, so I don't really laugh at this. I'm just like, alright, Juan. So I just go to the toilet because I'm on my way out to see if Paul's alright, because I can hear Paul's doing this weird gagging stuff. I can hear all this howling, and I'm like, I don't care what Juan says. What if these are wolves? So anyway, I go to the toilet. I'm not going to explain that bit, it's a bit personal, isn't it? But no, and I finish in the toilet, and then I turn around, and Una's coming towards me, and she's like, oh, hello, Caleb, hey. And I'm just like, oh, hi, Una. She's interested now. But then I hear screaming. Paul screaming. So I'm like, shit. So I run outside, and I see Paul, topless, running towards the forest. And he's got no top on, running towards the forest, like screaming and all that. And he just gets swallowed up by the forest. And we're just like, what? And it's pretty funny at the time, because Paul's done this loads of times. I just should say, Paul's run off loads of times. Then he comes back naked like the next morning, and he's like, oh, Caleb, I met like a wolf. And I'm like, oh, alright, Paul. Anyway, so I'm just like, let's go to bed, let's forget it. Juan's talking to Carla, I'm like, me and Una, it's going to be fine. Let's just wait for Paul, let's go to bed, it'll be fine. So anyway, we get up in the morning, Paul's not back. So I'm like, oh, should I go and look for Paul? But Juan's like, oh, we're going to go see this cool cave. And I'm like, oh, let's go and see the cool cave. So we go see the cool cave. I'm in this cave, it's really impressive. There's like this massive, massive drop in one bit of it. And I'm looking over this drop with my phone, like, oh, trying to get shot. And then Juan shoves me, and I'm like, really shit myself. I fall forward and drop my phone, and it's a puddle. It's this massive puddle reflecting the ceiling, and it wasn't really a drop at all. So it was pretty funny, and I was like, haha. But then my phone's been malfunctioning ever since. So it's sort of funny, but it's sort of a dick move. But anyway, so we leave this cave. Sorry, I'm going quick because I'm like 10 minutes. I've got to get all this stuff in. So we get back to the shack. Paul's still not back, so I'm like, gotta go and find Paul, Juan. I've got to go and find Paul. Una says, oh, Caleb, I'll come with you. I'm like, yes, Una will come with me, Juan. So we go into this forest, right? And then we see this like pinky, like orange sky through the trees, and we're like, oh, whoa, what's that? So we follow it through, and there's like this clearing. We can see like this beautiful sunset and the sea and the beach and stuff. And then I'm like, oh God, this is like ideal. This is ideal for me and Una, innit? So then I turn around to Una, and then I see a necklace very like this one, yeah? And Paul had a necklace very like this one that a guru gave us in Thailand in a temple. He wouldn't say that off, that's like a prized possession. So I'm like, Una, I pull the necklace, it breaks, great. But then Una's like, oh shit, right, we've got to go and find him. So we start heading back. So we're heading back through this forest, we're walking and walking and walking. Can't see the shack anywhere. And it's getting dark, Una's got a torch on, and we start like hearing, like faintly, that howling again. And I'm like, Una, right, let's just stop, let's collect our thoughts and let's think about the situation. No food, yeah? No sleeping bags. No signal on our phones. Never had any since we got there, no signal. The batteries are running out, she's been using a torch. My phone's a bit fucked really, because of Juan. So I'm like, right, okay, let's just collect our thoughts, as I say. And then the howling starts getting louder, the howling starts getting closer, so we're just like on this tree like this, like, and then I'm like, Una, shit, Una, no response. Una, no response. Then I'm like, Una! And then I hear Una screaming, and this howling's getting louder, and there's all this snarling, and I'm like, shit, so I just start running. I know it's a bit of a cowardly thing, but I can't save her if I get killed by like this massive nightmare dog thing, can I? So I'm just like, oh, so I start running, and I'm getting scratched by these trees, and I'm pulling bark off as I go past these trees, and I'm like, oh, running, and then I stop, and I can't hear anything. Una, are you there? And then I can hear like snarling and howling, and it's like 5 trees away, and I see this like dark shape bounce off a tree, and these red eyes like looking at it. I'm like, oh no, so I keep running, and my feet are getting all scratched. My feet were proper scratched because I had my flip-flops got ripped off by like all the undergrowth. So I started scratching my feet, and I was just like, oh, this couldn't get any worse. Couldn't get any worse, could it? But anyway, and then suddenly I feel cold like tarmac under my feet, and I'm suddenly on this hard road, and I see these bright lights and this horn sounds, and I'm nudged onto the floor like this, and I'm like, oh, I'm blinded. I'm like, oh. And then this guy's shouting at me in Spanish, and he's like, hey, no puedes estar aquí, oh, tú no puedes estar aquí, es muy peligroso, hay gente muriendo. And I'm like, oh, no, and I'm trying to explain, I'm like, oh, no, no entiende, en el bosque, monstruo, amigos, and but he doesn't understand what I'm saying. So yeah, he arrests me, this other guy's got a baton, and he's like, and then yeah, I'm in the back of a police car, lights are going, I don't know, I'm in this foreign country, and yeah, my aunt picked me up from the station. Yeah.
What happened with her?
Who?
Una.
Una.
Una? Oh, Una's fine. Una's with Juan.
What?
Yeah, she was like, oh yeah, Juan scared me, and then I just went back to the shack and I'm staying at his house.
Well, you left her behind.
And what about the other guy, the Paul?
Paul, yeah. Paul would run about naked in the local town, and then they arrested him as well.
Oh, so he lost his pants too?
Yeah, I mean, if you meet Paul, you would be like, fair enough. Like Paul, I'm surprised he wears pants anyway, because he's just, honestly, the sort of guy he is. But yeah, I mean, I'm not been able to see him because I'm stuck here. I can't go out, and they won't let me like engage.
Caleb,
obviously,
you have 1 minute.
But did you find out the noises that they were coming? Because in Tenerife, there's a volcanic area like Joe versus the volcano, when Tom Hanks have to throw someone being thrown to the volcano. So they would be related, that noises that you were hearing.
I wouldn't lie to you. I think it was a wagancha, honestly.
Wagancha.
Caleb, you remind me of myself 20 years ago. You give off good vibes. I can see myself in you. This is what you've got to look forward to in 20 years' time.
You're looking at.
I'm Spanish. I never hear about this wakancha thing.
Neither had I. And now look, I've met one. Well, sort of met one.
You met one. Did you kiss him? Did you kiss 2 kisses to the wakancha?
I don't think I'd want to give the Guagancha 2 kisses. I'd have liked to give Una 2 kisses, but yeah, Juan took care of that, didn't he? So.
Be careful with that kind of damn himself.
Never trust